this is a sort of One Book July week 4 roundup stroke whole challenge roundup, as it were. And it's not going to take very long because I moved house last week, and as you can imagine, I haven't had time to do anything creative in any way. Basically, it's mostly to do stuff. This was the week 3. Is it week 3 or week 4? I got confused because I started on the Wednesday on the 1st of July. So, I don't know. It's the 20th to the 26th. Anyway, this is what my week ended up looking like in the end. Then I have... This was my stuff I was needed to get for the flat, most of which I've now done. And a list of things that I needed to buy, some of which I can now cross off. And it's so nice to use a different pen again. That blue biro I was using has almost run out. Almost. Yeah, I've done those two. So, yeah, this is my to buy list. I stuck one of these. These are from Smash. I've got to buy, I need, I want, and to bake. There's another one as well, but I can't remember what it says. This is where my YouTube questions was, and I had a big pink sticky note here. That sticky note is now finished, so I've taken it off. This was just a brain dump. I was working on bits and pieces that were in my head and how I wanted to set up my journal for August, which I'll come to in a moment. I think this was the last page you saw last time. This was my collage, which I did as a video. You can see that. If you go a couple of videos back, you'll see this one. And then it started getting sparse, and I was literally just... I had the energy to cut and paste and do a bit of lettering, but I was in the middle of packing. I did write about some of the bits and pieces that I got on that advertising app, Spock, which is my new favourite thing. I found a couple of bits and pieces that I liked that I wanted to stick in my journal, so I've got a manifesto for introverts that I found in a magazine. Books. Me, when I find a book I love. Oh, isn't she cute? Currently reading Finders Keepers by Stephen King, which I haven't had a lot of time to get into at the moment, but I will do because I've got some painting I need to do, so that will be awesome. I'll be able to just turn off and get into my book. A couple of kind of desserts in a jar that caught my eye. Raspberry vodka chocolate trifle, which I don't drink, so I probably wouldn't put vodka in it, but raspberry and chocolate is like my favourite combination ever. So that's might have to be made. And savoury mango soup, which I can't get my head around that, but it sounds really nice. Apart from the mint leaves for decoration, I think it sounds really nice. So yeah, I'm going to try that, I think. It almost sounds like a smoothie. Because as far as I can tell, it's cold. Yeah, chill before serving. So it's almost like a smoothie. Then we had the last few days of July. So this is the 27th to the 31st. And as you can see, I had no time to do anything. My to-do list was massive because this was the week we moved. That was when we moved, and just everything, everywhere. Oh my God. Some people asked me, how do you organise your moving in your journal? Would you like to know about that? Basically, everything else falls by the wayside and I do the planning. If I then have time to do little creative bits here and there, I will do them. But mostly it's the planning. I don't decorate, I don't put stickers on, I don't do anything, because anything that is important like this, I need it to stand out. So I don't want it to be looking like this. I need it to look like, here's my list, tick, 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 tick. It's function, purely function. I don't do pretty planning for the sake of it. I don't see the point. You know, you do all these pretty stickers and pretty washi tape and bits and pieces, and then you're like, well, are you actually doing any planning? No. It's interesting actually, because we were doing our One Book July roundup, and I think it was Carrie said she didn't understand, that she find it a little bit infuriating, and I have to agree with her that a lot of people spend their time pretty planning, and it's all about the washi tape and how pretty their planner looks and this and that and having the latest thing, which is great. That's fine if that's what you're into. I know some people have a planner purely so they can decorate it, and that's fine. It's a creative outlet. That's not an issue. But you can't do all this pretty planning, then complain that, oh, well, my system isn't working, and then swap it into a different system and do it all over again. Because the problem is not the planner you're using or the layout you're using, it's the pretty planning is getting in the way. You don't have a system. That's why One Book July was created, to get you back to basics. If you didn't have anything else and all you had was a plain book and a pen, could you still function? Well, I can. As long as I can draw a straight line with something, I'm good. That's all I need. This is how I plan. Now, that's not saying it will work for everybody. Of course it won't. But if you can take away all the pretty and your plan still works for you, and it doesn't matter what format it's in, it still works for you, and it doesn't matter what book it's in, it still works for you, and it doesn't matter whether it's in a traveller's notebook or a ring-bound planner or a spiral-bound Erin Condren or whatever, it still works for you, then you've got a planning system. If your planning system never, ever, ever, ever works, then you haven't got a planning system. And all this decoration, it doesn't matter how pretty it is, if it's not functional and it's not working for you, then it's pointless. And like I say, I'm not knocking the people who just have a planner purely for the sake of decorating. I know a lot of people do. I know, what's her name? Olga at Art Mingle. I love her accent. She's so cute. Yeah, Olga has, I believe she has a planner that is specifically for decoration and noting special events. That's all she does in it. That's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's not a problem. But she has a planning system that backs it up. Yeah, she's got a planning system that works, that she does not mess with, that she doesn't decorate purely for the sake of it. And no matter what she puts it in, it works. And that is, I think that's the common thread with myself and Carrie and Vicky. It doesn't matter what we use, it doesn't matter how we use it. Whatever we do, our planning system still works. Carrie's been using the same system for, God, years. I think the only change she's made to her system was to print out a different set of DIY fish inserts. Vicky has a specific way of organising things, where she has her work, she has her personal, she has this, she has that. You know, she basically has a book for everything, and it works for her. I use lists. I'm basically, I mean, I call it a bullet journal because that's basically what it is, but I've always done this. It's just a set of boxes with a set of to-do lists. The extras, like the extra icons and things like that come with the bullet journal, were great, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. But the basis of my system is a list with tick boxes. It always has been. And that works whether you're doing it in a book or a planner or a post-it note or whatever. As long as I've got room to write, I've got room to put my list. It's as simple as that. I can plan on a piece of copier paper for a week. If I have to. I don't want to, but I could if I had to. I put some stickers in here purely because it was looking a bit boring. If I had room to put stickers in here, I might put some stickers here. I still might. I've got a little house sticker that because that's the week I moved house, I have got a little house sticker, and I might put that in there just to jazz it up a bit so it's not completely dead week. But, you know, form over function, I'm not into that. It's got to work for me. If it's not working for me, then I'm not interested in decorating it. And I don't really understand the concept of decorating in advance, because to me that means you don't have room to change your plans or move things, or so it works for some people, I know, but if that, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if pretty planning is working for you in whatever way, if it's just because you're doing pretty planning for the sake of it, or you're doing, you decorate your planner in advance for the week and then you plan out your week because your weeks are simple and they don't really have a lot of variation, or they maybe have a lot of variation but they have a set schedule, like somebody who's at work all day, or who's at college and has regular lectures or something like that, a set schedule, that would absolutely work. And I can totally see why you would decorate in advance, because you know what your week's going to be. You know the structure at the very least, even if you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing on Thursday at 6 o'clock. You know that between 6 o'clock when you finish work and 10 o'clock when it's bedtime, maybe, you've got 4 hours to play with, and what you do in that 4-hour slot can vary. I totally understand that, but if you are one of those people who is pretty planning and you can't get your system to work for you, that's what One Book July is for. Get rid of the pretty planning and go back to basics and work out what your system is, because I guarantee you the problem is not what it looks like, it's the system that you're using is not working. Is that rambly? I don't know. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Friday the 31st, and then that's it. I don't have anything else. I didn't journal last week. I didn't do anything. I did put thank you to the person who said, because I couldn't work out how to do my advanced planning for August. Thank you to the person who said, why don't you just print out your monthly and stick it in with washi tape so it's temporary and then you can move it if you need to. Yeah, I felt a bit dumb after that. I didn't even think of that. Too close to the problem. Somebody also suggested, which was also a very good idea, using temporary adhesive to stick it, so it basically became a post-it note. And that was also an option, because I do have temporary adhesive and I had thought about that. But for me, that was not... I needed to be a little bit more permanent than a post-it note, because I needed this in the middle of the month. So if it had just been like a day or two, it wouldn't have been a problem. But yeah, I needed to have this earlier in the month, and a sticky note type situation was not going to work. I'm sorry if you can hear that weird banging outside. I think the dustmen are coming around. So that's it. That's my book. Ultimately, I do have a little bit of the first and second on there, but I decided against it, so I will not count that one. To 123, and I started at 39. So what's that, about 90 pages? It's not bad. So I could probably finish this book. I mean, July was a very quiet month where I didn't do as much journaling as I normally would. If I put July and the last 2 weeks of June together, that's probably how much I'd normally do in a month. So this book would last me 3 months. This would last me through to the end of September, which I quite like. That's 1 book a quarter. I like that idea. It's still fairly thin at the binding. The binding is still intact. It's not got any pages coming out or anything like that. It is splaying out quite a bit at the edges, as you can see, but if you put a band on it, it pushes it back in, so that's not a problem. I've just been using a hairband. One thing I will say is that obviously now this has got lots of paper in it, it's getting very heavy. I mean, that'll happen with any planner, but yeah, it is getting heavy. I would like to carry on with this book. And I've had a serious dilemma over the last 4 or 5 days trying to decide what I was going to do, because I do like this book and I would love to just carry on with it and finish it through to September, and that will be it, job done, etc. But you know me, I like variety, and yeah, I do want to carry on with it. And even now I'm thinking, oh, but do I want to finish it? I want to finish it. Oh, I really like it. See, by the time I'm done, it's going to be about that big. Which is not too bad, actually, because it's still compressed. I really do want to finish this book. But I miss my Midori. I do. I love this thing, and I've missed carrying it around with me. Now this is where the dilemma has come, because I miss this, and I could just use it for something else. That way I'm using it and I can still finish my book, etc, etc. However, lovely Ray Blake over at My Life All in One Place, founder of our MTN Resources group on Facebook, sent me these. Now this is a monthly diary, July 15 to June 17. So it is a 2-year diary. It's 2 years worth of forward planning, which is just, oh. Oh, I've put him on the wrong way around. My little doggy's the wrong way around. Hang on, we've got to fix the little doggy. There we go. 2 years worth of monthly plans, all in my Midori. How awesome is that? And he set it up so that, oh well, I'll show you that in a minute. Let me show you a blank one. So this is September, and then the days that are not part of the month, he's just put a dot rather than numbers or anything else or whatever. He's just put a dot. So you could use these for all sorts of things. You could use these little boxes for tracking or something if you wanted to. And this goes right the way through, as I said, to June 2017, and then it's just got a couple of blank pages at the back just for the frontispiece. So you know, you could use this for maybe important phone numbers or something like that you needed to keep in your journal or in your diary. Then I bloody love this, he's made me the layout that I asked for my journal. Now here is my layout. Obviously for the last week of July I did it 2 days per page because I needed a bit more room, but this particular week worked fantastically. So I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then I've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday and notes, because Friday, Saturday and Sunday in my world are the weekend. I don't understand this whole starting the week on a Sunday. That does not make sense to me at all. The top section I was using for important notes and timed events and things like that, all day events, reminders, and this is my bullet journal down here. Now because I've got small writing, this works for me. Obviously if you've got large writing you might want to upgrade to 2 days on a page, like that. So you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you've got your weekend. So you'd have a week on 2 pages, 4 pages even. But this is my week on 2 pages, and I said to him, I wonder if you could do that as a Midori setup, because the width of these pages is almost the same as the Midori. Obviously it's a lot taller, but the width of these pages is about the same. And he did. Look what he's done. He's made me, so it's undated, it's got 31 weeks in it in all together, and it's exactly the same format, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and notes. It's got the panels for important information at the top. The notes column is all in one, and then you've got room to bullet journal or whatever, and obviously you can split this up and everything else. Isn't it fab? And I absolutely love that he's matched it with the calendar. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday notes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday notes. Isn't it awesome? Oh my God. Now he put this up on his website the other day, so I will link to it down below if you want to get a copy of it. It is available to print out. Oh, I love this, and I'm so excited to use it. I like the idea of having something that is set up for me the way I want it, but completely undated, you know, if I don't want to use it one week, I don't have to. I really like it. And because I've missed my Midori so much, and because he sent me this year planner as well, I really want to give this a go. I really want to get into this and give this a go for him and try it out and see what he says. See how it works. And I'm almost tempted to see if I could stick with this through until next July, next One Book July, which would be there. But we all know that's not going to happen, so, you know, there's no point in me even saying, oh, I'll give it a go, because it's just not going to happen. I will probably have changed my mind in about a week and a half and be saying, oh, I'm going back to that one next month. So, now where did I have that? Oh, I know, never mind. So yeah, I've got my shopping list on the front. This is just a piece of shopping list paper that I've put on the front of my calendar. So I've got stuff I need to buy for the flat and my grocery list for this month. I've got, I haven't transferred July over because I don't feel I need to. I've got July in that book, I can see it easily. But I have started putting my stuff in for August. I did transfer the last week of July into here, purely because I needed the 1st and 2nd, and I thought, well, I might as well put these 4 days in, these 5 days in as well, and just see how it works for me. Just see how I'm going to set it up. So I copied over the 5 days, and then I know from there where I'm going with it. So everything in red is July, and everything after that is August. So yeah, that is my planner. So I've got my month, and then I've just got my Ollie clip holding it together, and then I've got my week. And obviously I've got last week still available because I haven't finished putting these in. But also, when I come to Monday, I'll want to go back to this and check off if there's anything that I need to bring forward, because there's quite a few things that I need to bring forward. So I haven't finished with this week yet. So that is my back 2 booklets, and then in the front, now because these are basically only going to be writing and maybe a few stickers, because I do love my diary stickers, as you know, I don't see these getting any thicker, and that is a good thing, because in the front here I've got my plastic wallet and a blank journal. Now normally I prefer the 128 page refills, the very fine paper, the 013 Midori refill. Those are beautiful to work with. They take everything. They get a lot of ghosting, but they don't bleed. I absolutely adore them. And I do have one that is halfway through. It literally is like, it's about there. I think I've got like 4 pages to go, and then it's halfway, which is a good starting point for a new month. However, I have these Bandit Apple books. Now, Bandit Apple, quite a while ago, did a sponsored thing where you could get a free set of books and you just paid the postage. And it was specifically for reviewing them. And lots of people got the books. And lots of people have never used them, and lots of people have never reviewed them. So I thought I would use this for August. If you take the planning pages out of this and the list pages, if you take the planning pages out of this, my 90 odd pages, yeah, it would be about 64 pages. It's probably about right for a month. That's 2 pages a day, which averaged out is about right. I mean, I do a lot more than 4 pages I do a lot more than 2 pages some days, but other days I don't write at all. So I'm not a chronological, I must sit down every single day and do something in my journal kind of person. I do something in my journal every day, but it might be, I might do a picture and work on it for 4 days in a row and not do anything else in my journal. So yeah, I think 64 pages is about right for a journal section. And I really want to try this paper because it's quite nice paper. It's similar to the original moleskin paper, but it's not quite as heavy or textured as the plain Midori paper. So yeah, I'm going to give this a go for August and see how it holds up. And of course, I'm no longer restricted to one pen, so I can try all my pens, I can try all my inks, I can play with my paints again, I can play with my colouring pencils. I'm going to have a blast, basically. I'm just going to have a blast because, yeah, I've got all my stuff. Just being able to use this pen again, it's amazing. What I found was that I don't colour code as such. If I want something to highlight, I tend to put a sticky on it. But I really, really, really like to use different colours. I don't have to, and I don't, I'm not like, oh, red is for this, and blue is for this, and pink is for this, and orange is for this. I just like to use different colours. Using all one colour all the time drives me insane. And I am so sick of blue. I like generally I use black and then I add in other colours scheme. So yeah, I'm really liking having my Hobonichi back. And the idea that I can use my fountain pens if I feel like it and things like that is just, it's freeing. I'm excited to get going again. So that's where One Book July has left me this year. I'm excited to get back to playing with lots of stuff, knowing that my system underneath it works. Flat out works for me. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to update anything. It just works. I love that. The one thing I am going to do is, obviously, because this is only going to be one book, and this is kind of, it's similar to Jenny Penton does. She has 3 of these kind of books in a Midori. I think she uses moleskins, and she has one book for the month, and it's a plan book, and she has, she scripts her days basically, and it turns into a journal by the end of it, and I love that concept. But of course I've got my planner bits here. I don't really need to plan or script my days, but I do love the idea of just having, this one book is August 2015. So yeah, I kind of wanted to give that a go for my journaling. Not my planning. It wouldn't work for my planning, I don't think. But, well, I suppose it would. If I used a 128 book, I could do basically what I've done here for July in a 128 page book. But there's no way I could fit this into a 64 page book. It just wouldn't happen. So I'd be using like a book and a half in a month, which would just drive me insane. But I think for my journaling, one book should be about right. And I can always tip in a few bits if I need to. So yeah, that is my setup for August. So it's basically the same as I've already been doing for One Book July. It's just that I've split it up into 3 books and put it into my Midori. And of course I've got my bits and pieces in my zip wallet here, my shopping lists, and I'm going to use my coloured sticky notes to put my YouTube lists and my finance lists and stuff like that, like I did. I used them last month as well. I'm going to put these in, so I got them in the back of the book and I can see where they are easily. I might even just stick them on here because, you know, it's there. I could even pop them in there if I wanted to, if I think about it, actually. I don't want them too out of sight. I want them to be where I will see them all the time. So they need to be accessible. But, yeah, that's my setup. So I've got my journal with my plastic wallet, my monthly setup book, and my week on 2 pages with a bullet journal. And that's this week. And yeah, we'll see where we get to. See how that works for the month. Come September, I might be back in that book, because I really do want to finish that book. I really like that book. Or I might just use it for written journaling or sketching or something like that. I might just use it for something different. I don't know. Haven't decided. I will figure it out as I go along. That's what it's about for me, is figuring out what I want to do as I go along. That to me is the creative side of planning and journaling and everything else. That you figure out what you want to do as you go along, but your basic structure is the same, and that is what gives you variety and also the stability of having a planner that always works for you, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's my One Book July and my August setup. So I want to say a huge thank you to everybody in the planner community who did take part in One Book July, who was, you know, there were lots of people putting regular pictures on Instagram. There were lots of people doing videos. A load of people, absolute load of people, have put up their very first video for One Book July, which is just awesome. It's so good to see so many new people. I think if you did a brand new video and it was the first video you ever did and you did it for One Book July, I've followed you, I've subscribed to you. So keep it going. Do some more. Let's see what you're doing for August. Yeah, awesome uptake this year. Just so happy to have so many people giving it a go and seeing what happens and learning from the experience. And sharing their ideas. The Facebook group has turned out to be a really good idea this year, and obviously the Facebook group is going to stay open, and I think there are a few people who started One Book July late, or who want to do it for August because they didn't see it in July, which is fine. And technically I'm still doing One Book July because I'm still using my Midori. I'm just using my Midori instead of my little black book. So technically I'm still doing One Book July. I want to see if I can fit all my journaling into that one book there. But yeah, it's been awesome to see so many people getting involved and having a go and really coming together as a community and sharing ideas. It's just been fab. Absolutely fab. So I hope to see some more of you doing videos at some point and sharing with you sharing with us what you're going to do for August and other stuff that you do for your planning and journaling. And I will be back very soon. Bye!